Coming up, toting turtles in a Tecnam twin.
Moving priceless pieces of aviation history for home renovations. A milestone for pioneering aircraft design.
And flying honors for the greatest generation. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
See what others can't. Virtual 360 camera and the Audi Q7.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haynes and Alyssa Cobb.
This Friday, in the skies over Washington, D.C., a tribute to the greatest generation. The men and women who fought World War II and defeated fascism 75 years ago. And for that tribute, one of the greatest flying warbird collections from that era.
That's right, Alyssa. We're here at an airfield outside of Washington. This will be the staging point for some of the heavy bombers that will take part in that flyover. Behind me, you can see B-29 Fifi, one of the airplanes that will be in that flight, the Arsenal of Democracy flyover. More than 50 aircraft, from Piper L-4 Grasshoppers to B-29 Super Fortresses like this one, will fly over the National Mall. There'll be some 20 formations grouped to commemorate some of the important battles of the war. The aircraft and crew have been arriving in Virginia all this week and practicing for the grand event in the skies near the Blue Ridge. For many of the pilots, this flyover will be very personal.
My father, who is a World War II vet, just turned 98 3 days ago. And, well, I grew up with a lot of the conversations of World War II and with the heroes that flew during the war. My dad served in the Pacific for 2.5 years. Trying to shoot down airplanes. He was an anti-aircraft gunner. But just being around that, I learned it, loved it, appreciated it, and quite the privilege to fly this old 75-year-old airplane.
The Arsenal of Democracy flyover will begin at 11:30 a.m. on Friday. They'll fly over the Lincoln Memorial, up the mall toward the Capitol, and then south after the Washington Monument. If you can't make it to the mall to watch, the event will be live streamed on the Arsenal Democracy's website and their Facebook page. And one final note. The managers of the staging airports in Virginia ask that you do not go to the airports. There are strict limits on the number of people that can be there because of the COVID pandemic. So, Alyssa, it's going to be quite an event these next couple of days after we record this, and lots of flying activity. And it's going to be amazing to be down there in the mall. The weather's looking great, and to see some of these airplanes, you know, this could be perhaps the last time we'll see a collection of airplanes like that flying, particularly over a place in Washington, D.C. with so many restrictions, and particularly also with some of the actual World War II vets on board, because unfortunately we're losing too many of those every day, and our next anniversary we may not have any of those around.
Yeah, that's right. This is truly a momentous occasion, and I am so excited to see all of it come off. What an amazing and well-deserved tribute. Well, an off-airport landing did some minor damage to another World War II warbird participating in commemorative ceremonies. The 3 B-25 crew members are just fine, thankfully. These photos show the damaged bomber after the crew experienced mechanical problems. Local news reported the Mitchell struck an irrigation ditch after the forced landing. Old Glory, now you may remember, had been shipped out to Hawaii for the aerial parades over Pearl Harbor. The airplane had made it back to California aboard a U.S. Navy ship. It had been scheduled to spend some time around the West Coast before heading back to Albany, New York, where it is based.
Many pilots dream of owning an airplane, but sometimes the cost is just too much to take it on alone. That's why AOPA started the Flying Club initiative to connect pilots who want to share aircraft ownership. AOPA's Josh Cochrane has the story about a significant milestone we just reached in the Flying Club initiative.
Camaraderie, a shared passion, and affordable flying. What more could you want? These are just a few of the benefits of a flying club. The Flying Club initiative is just one part of AOPA's You Can Fly program. The goal? To build a stronger pilot community.
The Flying Club initiative is a really important part of AOPA's You Can Fly program because it's a great way to get pilots flying and sharing an aircraft. So you have all the joys of aircraft ownership, you get to share the responsibilities, and you get to have a lot of fun with people who enjoy flying as much as you do.
And AOPA just reached a milestone in our Flying Club's initiative. Flying Club number 150.
This milestone of the 150th Flying Club is really important because it shows that people are interested and engaged and they're out there having fun with their airplanes.
The 150th club is the Bald Eagle Aviation Club at Kalispell City Airport in Montana. The club started coming together after founders Mike Whitehill and Kevin Colum reached out to AOPA's director of the Flying Club's initiative, Steve Bateman, to ask about how to start a club. Steve connected the two even though they had never met before.
Instead of splitting up and going our separate ways, we put our heads together and made it happen together.
Mike became interested in starting a club after his experience with Twin City Cloud 7, a successful flying club in Minnesota.
The experience from that club was excellent, with multiple aircraft, high-performance aircraft, instrument-capable airplanes. So that was my experience, and I'm trying to replicate that here.
The Bald Eagle Aviation Club flies a 1957 Cessna 182A. The club has 7 members who are all reaping the benefits of the affordability and camaraderie that come with flying clubs.
Anybody who doesn't own an airplane should investigate a flying club, and the best way to go, in my mind.
Josh Cochrane, AOPA Live.
And we have a ton of resources on our website about how to start or find a flying club.
Well, whether you fly a club airplane, a rental, or your own, you're often looking for a place to go, a cool restaurant near the field, or maybe just something fun to do that you can fly to. Well, we've made it even easier for you to find all of that. Our development team has been hard at work making the AOPA app even better.
The AOPA app, the last version just came out, 2.5.1, now includes the entire AOPA airports and destinations directory. And that's an important and a big change to the app. The entire directory is now downloadable. So you can download an offline copy of our online database. You can also download instrument procedures, FAA airport diagrams, and have all that information even when you don't have an internet connection.
The airport database lists frequencies, runways, pattern altitudes, FBO information, sectional and satellite views of the airport, a ton of stuff. But hey, it'll only take about a gig of memory, and well, today that's not so much. The AOPA app is available for iOS and Android phones and tablets. And the team at Daher in Tarbes, France is celebrating. They rolled out TBM 1000 this week, a top-of-the-line TBM 940. It was a virtual event, COVID-19, but it was streamed around the world.
I was fortunate with the timing of this, but would like to recognize that there's 999 TBM owners that have come before me and contributed immensely to TBM's record of safety and growth.
When you receive your plane shortly, what's the first thing you're going to do? Apart from maybe hug it?
I am meeting Jacques on Wednesday at Morristown Airport around 4 o'clock, and we're going to fly down to the Pompano facility, and there's going to be a celebration down there, which is richly deserved. But with COVID, I'll be heading back north, and then in 2 weeks, I'll start flying fairly consistency for business and for angel flights and for personal.
The TBM concept was born in the late 1980s when light aircraft maker Cicada teamed up with Mooney, actually, to develop a light, pressurized single-engine turboprop. TB stands for Tarbes, where the aircraft is built, and the M is for Mooney. The latest version, the TBM 940, features auto throttle and an emergency auto land feature. Now, it'll cost you north of $4 million for that.
Meanwhile, the airlines continue to gasp for cash and passengers as COVID lingers on. Air carrier ops down 42% last week from the year before. Passenger screenings down 69%. Hey, and those are improvements over recent months. Meanwhile, general aviation ops soldier on above seasonal norms for the most part, most weeks by double digits. People still need to travel, and PlaneSense, a fractional ownership program that celebrated 25 years of business in this month, has seen its business improve significantly since the start of COVID.
In March and April, we were at 15% year on year, so we're 85% down. So we did have some harrowing moments when nobody would go anywhere. But as we started seeing movement again, our clients, our existing clients, and then newly acquired clients contributed to an increase of our activity. We're now seeing about 85% year on year.
Some of that improvement is from new customers trying out general aviation flying for the first time, attracted by what they perceive is a safer environment.
From the very beginning, we developed cleaning protocols, distancing protocols, full strategies of what to do if a team member became infected, so that we could contain such infections and keep our team and our clients very safe. I'm happy to report that the history of 6+ months now proves out that our procedures have borne fruit. Lately, we also have added coatings on the airplanes that keep bacteria and microbiological cleanliness on the aircraft. And we're constantly looking at new ways to protect the universe that we come in touch with.
PlaneSense operates a fleet of Pilatus PC-12 turboprops and PC-24 jets, as well as Nextent 400 XTIs. And by the way, that interview with George Antonatis is from a longer pilot lounge chat that he and I did this week. You can find it on AOPAlive.org or on our YouTube channel. So Alyssa, this is a part of the business that's actually been doing quite well as people discover that the airlines aren't going to as many locations as they used to, and people aren't feeling all that safe about getting on an airliner, but they're okay getting on a private airplane. So these kind of companies are actually doing okay.
Yeah, I have not been on an airliner yet either, and I much favor GA travel, so I'm glad that people are finally more people are realizing the benefits of general aviation. Well, college football season is dramatically impacted by COVID-19, but some games are still going on. One upcoming bout will have an aviation connection. The United States Air Force football team is suiting up to honor the Tuskegee Airmen this season. These uniforms are designed to pay tribute to the famed fighter pilots. Featuring a red and silver paint scheme and a throwback graphic to the Air Power Legacy series, uniforms will debut on October 3rd against the Navy. And a new Air and Space Museum will debut in the future. We mentioned earlier, these airplanes here will be flying right over the mall in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, and one of the most popular attractions on the mall, the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. Right now, the museum is closed for renovations. AOPA's senior features editor, Julie Walker, takes us for a look behind the scenes of the renovation and gives us a glimpse of what to look forward to when the museum reopens.
A DC-3 being carted through the streets of Washington, D.C. is not a sight you see every day. The movement of this historic airliner is just one moving part of thousands in the restoration of the Smithsonian's Air and Space Museum on the Mall in D.C. The renovation started in 2018. The artifacts and building were starting to show the toll of the more than 350 million visitors who have come since the building opened in 1976. It took teamwork and careful coordination to transport these priceless aircraft.
And just to watch how they were pulled apart, moved up to the area where we hooked them up to the crane and literally go over the side from the second floor down to the first floor is just extraordinary.
Most of the aircraft from the DC Museum were transferred to a large warehouse at the Air and Space Museum's Udvar Hazy Center, called the Dulles Collection Center.
But it's just walking through that collection center is the history, and you say, oh, here's something to do with Patty Wagstaff, here's something to do with Roscoe Turner, here's something from the military that was so important. It's just a walk through history.
Once the building construction is completed in D.C., the aircraft will be transported and reassembled. The front exterior of the building will be all new, and there will be a new gallery focused specifically on general aviation called We All Fly.
One thing I've learned along the way is that people don't know what general aviation is. So my goal has been to get that out there, get people to understand exactly what it is, and to understand what it does for the overall community. There's a special emphasis on young people, engaging people from the middle school up through college level. So we've designed a number of interactives that we hope will draw people in and get them to understand what's available in general aviation and all of aerospace.
The first new galleries are planned to open in 2022, where they will once again draw millions to be inspired by flight. Julie Walker, AOPA Live.
And you can read more about the Air and Space Museum in the October issue of AOPA Pilot Magazine. And when we come back, another GA indicator is trending up.
And turtles really do fly. AOPA Live This Week continues in a moment.
Your plane is a valuable tool. With the Genesis Aerosystems S-Tech 3100 digital autopilot, you can rest assured you will arrive safely to your destination. The 3100 is the industry's most advanced autopilot for single and twin-engine aircraft, providing exceptional workload reduction, safety-enhancing capabilities such as straight and level mode and speed protection. To learn more, visit our website today.
Welcome back. Well, unless you don't watch the news or social media at all, you know there's a presidential campaign going on right now. And as we do every 4 years, we've reached out to each of the candidates to ask for their thoughts and experience with general aviation. President Trump's campaign said that he holds great respect and appreciation for general aviation. He's used GA airplanes to help build his businesses. He acknowledges GA's role in connecting the country and its contribution to the national economy. You can read much more about the president's response on our website. We also asked the Biden campaign for the former vice president's thoughts on general aviation. That campaign has yet to respond. We did give them 6 weeks. Now, AOPA does not endorse either candidate, but we do encourage everyone to get out and vote. And a rare bipartisan vote means that the FAA won't shut down at the end of the month. The House passed a stopgap funding bill that will keep the government open until December 11th. The Senate is expected to approve it as well. The so-called continuing resolution gives money for nutrition aid and to farmers, but no bailout for the airlines. The airlines are threatening major layoffs if they don't get more money by October.
But while the COVID-19 crisis has really hurt the airlines, general aviation is hanging in there. You've heard earlier about how GA operations are at or above seasonal norms. Well, here's another indicator: increasing demand for training aircraft. And because of that, Diamond Aircraft is introducing a new version of its DA-20C1 trainer. The two-seater is coming back into production with a 125 horsepower Continental IO240 and Garmin G500 TXI avionic. And something new for the FlyQ EFB, a new owner. AFV Partners has added the Seattle-based company to its portfolio of flight planning and performance analysis applications. Seattle Avionics founder Steve Podrachik says this will give him a lot more resources to expand and improve FlyQ and the other data products.
If I were a FlyQ user, I would be jumping up and down right now. It's very, very good data. Or if you're a user of one of our data products too, because we supply the data to Dynon, to Aspen, to Bendix King products, about 10 other companies. So big move in both regards.
Steve says FlyQ prices will remain the same, yay! But he says there will be improvements as well and enhancements for the EFB coming in the future. Well, pilots use airplanes to serve the greater good every day, from flying supplies to deal with the pandemic to patients too sick for the airlines, and even four-legged friends to their new forever homes.
Ooh, forever, I like that. But did you know that turtles fly too? AOPA Live's Paul Harrop caught up with a pilot who flew an endangered turtle to her new home.
If you've met Brenda Tibbs, you know two of the things she loves are animals and flying. This is a story about combining both of them.
Well, Tim, one of the instructors at Bravo, and I flew with Pistachio, the Kemp's Ridley sea turtle.
Pistachio needed a new home and had to get there.
We went down to Tampa to pick her up. She had been injured by a boat years ago and was not releasable. So the Turtles Fly 2 organization arranged for us to pick her up and take her to her new home in Brookfield near Chicago.
It's a win-win. Brenda wanted to spend some time with the Tecnam P2006, newly on the line at her flight school Bravo flight training, and it just so happened to be a perfect platform for picking up Pistachio.
So what's it like flying with a turtle as a passenger?
She was pretty good most of the time. She got a little bit antsy on our first descent and decided to start walking around in her box and made a lot of noise and shook us a little bit, but she was pretty good the rest of the time.
And after enduring some pokes and prods by the vets at the Brookfield Zoo, Our flippered flyer floats off into a watery welcome at her new home.
The idea of being able to help endangered animals in need, doing something that I love anyway, I mean, it's just both of those things are a great motivator.
Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.
If you'd like to get involved, there's a call for turtle pilots. Check out the Turtles Fly 2 website. You can see more images and video from Pistachio's epic journey with Brenda on the Bravo Flight Training Facebook page. So, Alyssa, there's a mission for everybody out there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, lucky for Pistachio. I just love its name.
That's our show for this week. Thanks so much for giving us some of your time. And if you're in Washington Friday, we may see you down on the mall for the Arsenal of Democracy flyover.
Yeah, but if you can't make it, remember you can watch online. And as always, we want to know what you think. Our email address is right there on your screen. And we hope you'll join us again next Thursday for another edition of AOPA Live This Week.
My name's Tom Rao. I've got about 18,000 hours total time as a pilot. There's certain things that you can see with an onboard radar, and there's certain things you can't see. And the nice thing about SiriusXM's weather product is that it adds another layer of safety, which really plays into the aeronautical decision-making process for me. It allows me to get a more strategic, big picture when I'm going to go 700 or 800 miles. Just facilitates decision-making on a long-range spectrum. The SiriusXM weather features that I engage in the airplane, of course, there's a selection. The wind feature and the ability to work out route changes with center to take advantage of the wind is sort of a carryover from my airline days or in the Navy when we always felt like we didn't have enough gas. Being able to make gas literally by shortening its segment length, the wind feature it's invaluable. The number of dollars saved as a result, I just don't think I can calculate it.